Hey, it's Biddy Penny. Welcome to my channel. It's time to share the sheet load for August, and the whole team, the whole creative team, will be sharing it today. We also have a guest, which is Lynn from LV Handcrafted. Oh, I love Lynn. She is so delightful, and she's always got lots of crafty friends hanging out on her channel with her. She does card making. She's on design teams. She tests a lot of products. I've been watching her as she tries to make stamps lately, and it's been very entertaining. Anyways, she's a sheer delight. I definitely encourage you to go check her out and subscribe, hang out with her a bit. If you enjoy live videos with lots of crafters, then you'll definitely enjoy her channel. And the shenanigans that they all get up to. So here is the sheet load for August 2024. What? It's already August. This is a free product that you get from Call Me Crafty Al here on YouTube. It's the sheet load of cards, and this month it is an A2 card. All the cutting instructions, everything comes to you in this. I'm going to leave everybody and everything linked in the description box down below. And I'm converting this. I'm going to make a 5x7. I can't help myself. It's just what I like to do. So there's lots of ideas and so many possibilities with every single sheet load. I am playing with this kit from last year, use it or lose it. It's time to use it. So this is a 49th and Market kit called Gardenia Spectrum, something in that neighborhood. Ballpark, whatever. And there is ephemera that go with it, which I will be using today as well. I also pulled out this really cool iridescent vellum from Lawn Fawn, and I ended up using that. So I cut my backgrounds to 4 3/4 by 6 3/4. Then I cut this vellum down to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So I got 4 panels from every 8 1/2 by 11 sheet. Yay. So this sheet load does make 8 cards, and mine are very different, but definitely based on the sheet load. So I really loved the dissecting aspect of this month's sheet load. I have these scrap Project Life cards, which are 3x4, and I just used some random scraps just to see if where I was going is where I would want to be. So I definitely encourage you, I stamped a label out on a Post-it note. I grabbed scraps and just kind of played around with the dimensions. I was toying with having this paper, but I wasn't going to get the most out of my paper if I used that, because I was going to cut 3x4 strips and I wanted them to be vertical. Therefore, I used this paper instead, and I only needed 2 sheets because I was able to get 4 3x4 cards from every sheet. Yeah. And I like it. I like this paper. So I'm going to cut this up to 3x4 strips. And then I'll end up just cutting that diagonally across them. I didn't have a template. I didn't have a strategy or a way. I just kind of was like, diagonal cut. There we go. And just kept that real simple. I am going to layer up a card here for you all to see. I'm going to give you a couple of little tips along the way. See, I'm just cutting. I'm just like, yep, there we go. Cut at an angle. That works, especially with as many layers. So, okay, step 1. With this one, I'm just putting the glue on the the dissected 3x4 card, and I'm putting the glue on it. I'm gluing it down to the iridescent vellum, and then I'm going to hide my glue on the back of those cards and glue this down. This is actually the only card I made this way. It's not bad. There's nothing wrong with it. It's totally fine. But I did opt for using a glue stick instead as I made all my other cards, and I'll show you that in just a minute. So this Gardenia Spectrum collection had everything but the sentiment and the Tim Holtz dolls that I decided to use. So I pulled a little bit from this collection, a little bit from that collection, to make this all come together. But I really love where I ended up with it. I made piles. So for like the little tickets that you see above this card, I made sure I had 8 of those. I made sure I had 8 interesting, like, what are those called again? Those like photo reels there. I know that's not the name. Y'all are all going to tell me in the comments. And I don't mind it at all. But I can't remember right now what they're called. But I only had 4 of those, so I ended up using some other frames, essentially just making sure I had a frame for every card, a sentiment for every card, a set of paper dolls for every card, and getting those all glued down. And it was nice to have stacks because it was easy to work through the stack and make my way through layering each individual card. So I do like to do that. I glued most all of my layers down. If I popped anything up, it would just be like the heart, that green heart, or a piece here and there. But most of my layers went down with just wet glue. So even though this card looks really dimensional, it's incredibly flat, which is always a good thing when you have to put a stamp on it. These cards are friendship based. I love making cards that are friendship based. It's just a theme that really makes me happy. So now here's another one. I'm going to show you an alternative, and how I ended up actually gluing down all of the vellum was I grabbed an old book page and I used a glue stick. A lot of people don't do this or don't know this, but a glue stick won't show through on your vellum. So when you want to glue vellum down and you don't want glue lines, use a glue stick. It's like magic. It totally works, especially on a patterned paper. Will it work 100% of the time? Probably not, because there's too many variables. But on a patterned piece of paper, it totally works. So that's what I did for all of my cards, with the exception of the first one. And when the edges just kind of curl up on you, which I'll show you in a minute, then I just use a little wet glue, and it's totally undetectable. It works really well. You could use a little more glue stick on the edges if you wanted to. And now I'm just gluing my little dissected 3x4 card on top of each one. And to line that up, grab a T ruler if you want to be really accurate and have straight lines and such. You could definitely use a T ruler. This card, I needed to improvise, so I brought in this frame and used this from the ephemera pack. This ephemera pack was just jam-packed with so much awesomeness. I really love 49 and Markets. Over the last couple of years, they've really kind of turned a corner in making really cool paper and ephemera, I think. And so it just was a whole lot of fun playing with this kit again, which I guess is why I had hoarded it for the last year, because I liked it so much. So that means it's time to get it out and play with it. Now, also for my Tim Holtz dolls, I had used the minis, but I didn't have enough of like girlfriends. So I ended up going to my photo booth pieces and grabbed a couple of those. So you can totally improvise, which I wanted you to think about. Maybe you don't have the Tim Holtz dolls, or you have the Tim Holtz dolls and you don't have the photo ones, the photo booth ones. Just use what you have. I wanted to show you here the difference between a vellum that's glued down and one that's not. It's definitely kind of wrinkled. It's got more texture to it. And then here is one that has the curling going on. So yeah, I just use a very tiny bit of wet glue here and run it along the edge, get out all of the excess glue, and just make sure it's nice and flat and it blends right in, and no one is the wiser. Plus, they have 50 different things to look at on these cards, so they won't even notice unless I put too much glue on it. Again, using the T ruler, lining things up, and collaging on top. Okay, so for these little things, I did end up cutting them in half, and I actually liked that better as well because it stayed more flat and it like doubles the supply. I needed more of them, so I ended up just cutting those little tabs in half, and that was a great solution. So that's kind of how it went for me to make 8 cards using the August 2024 Sheetload of cards. Make sure to use the hashtag. You can totally share. We want to see the things that you make when you create with a Sheetload. Tag me on Instagram. I'd love to see it. I'd love to see your Sheetloads. And yeah, these are the final cards. They all have the same sentiment. They have similar arrangements. If it's not broken, don't fix it. But each one truly is unique and, you know, is special. So I hope that you enjoyed my Sheetload of cards this month. I can't wait to see what the rest of the creative team has come up with. And Lynn, our special guest, I hope you'll hop along. Just use the playlist, and it's really easy. Just press play and you can see all the videos. So handy. Thanks, Alicia, for hosting this as always. It's an honor and a pleasure to participate, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.